Good evening everyone and welcome back to Twisted Ink. Those of you who've been following my YouTube escapades for some time now will know that I am passionate about indie titles and I've covered a lot of smaller indie games in my 2 years on YouTube so far, some of which have eventually turned into full playthroughs. I'm very keen to bring this feature back to my channel as much as possible, so I thought I'd kick off with a game that really caught my eye, which I was emailed about a few weeks back, entitled The Bug Butcher. As described on their website, The Bug Butcher is an action-packed 2D side-scrolling shoot-'em-up game where peril comes from above. So in a nutshell, pest control with machine guns in space. In the background footage is me playing the game itself, but rather than listen to me talk about it and rage every time I fail to beat a level, I'm fortunate enough to be joined by the wonderful people who made it at Awfully Nice Studios. Till, Rainer, nice to meet you.
Hey guys.
Hey Jay, nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Good. Do you guys want to give me a bit of a background on you individually first? So, Till, your background's in 3D modeling.
Yeah, that's right. So I've kind of have I started off as a 2D animator, an animation degree, but I kind of got pushed into the 3D modeling by my teachers telling me there's no career in 2D animation. So I kind of went down that route and actually really enjoyed it. Like I really enjoyed the character modeling and modeling in general. It's really fun.
And you moved on to doing that for the cinematics team at Blizzard.
That's right. Yeah, I actually got hired right out of school and was working there for about 4 years.
Okay. Is there anything anyone listening to this or watching this on the channel will recognize from your time at Blizzard? Any particular scenes you've worked on or games?
There's plenty of things people wouldn't recognize, but at the end of my time there, I actually worked on I got to work on the Malthael model he's like the Grim Reaper in the Diablo trailer.
Okay,
I forget exactly which expansion it was, but yeah, I got to work on a hero asset, which is always kind of a big deal there.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was really fun. But you know, a lot of other stuff, like I did a lot of blend shapes, like for facial expressions, and I did things on like hair brooms and yeah, all sorts of little things. So yeah, not that many recognizable things.
Some of the finer details behind the scenes that a lot of people don't tend to appreciate, but
for sure, yeah,
those avid gamers will recognize and will really appreciate.
You know, those things are huge team projects. Like everything is. It's hard to really condense anything down to just one person. You know, there's so many revisions, and sometimes there's several people working on a single asset. So yeah, but Malthael's probably my proudest moment. That was a really fun month.
I'm playing through Diablo 3 at the moment with my partner, so yeah, we're having a lot of fun in that one. I'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, it should be an amboss, but I actually don't play Diablo, so I wouldn't know.
So you are the creative director of Awfully Nice Studios?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you could call me that. I pretty much do anything visual. I mean, our tasks are split right down the middle, so anything that has to do with, character design, environments, UI, all that stuff, like that's pretty much my task.
And your partner in crime, Rainer, is a sort of unofficial title, programming director. You've got
development monkey.
Yeah. You've got some impressive projects under your belt, I have to admit. CGI supervisor for the Avengers. You designed the home tree in Avatar.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I have about maybe 10 years background experience in visual effects.
Wow.
So I worked for 5 years in New Zealand and worked for another 5 years in Germany, and also worked for Blizzard, where I met Till there.
And that was it, working on a project together at Blizzard.
At Blizzard, yeah, that's great. I mean, those bigger companies is always like you get a certain task and that you have to do, but I'm always more like a all-rounder. I like to do like many different kind of tasks.
Yeah.
That's more fun to me. That's why I ended up starting our own studio.
But you get a lot of skills under your belt doing it that way as well, working on lots of different aspects of games design as well. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you guys met at Blizzard. You were working on a project together, or a wider team project, and I imagine at some point a conversation occurred between the two of you, say in the lunchroom at Blizzard or something, and and then the Bug Butcher was born. What was it that sparked the idea for the Bug Butcher?
Well, actually, So yeah, Reiner and I actually worked on the same team. We worked on the character team together, and he kind of just always showed interest in games, and there was like 2-3 of us that would like go out at lunch and talk about games and ideas we had, and the Bug Butcher was actually a game that I had already been kind of working on. Just for me, it was more like an outlet to do 2D animation, like a reason to kind of do some art, but it wasn't anything concrete. And Reiner kind of like, he showed a lot of interest. He definitely like was into the style that I was already working with,
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of how we got the conversation going.
And it's a beautiful looking game from what I've played so far. I mean, everyone's looking at it in the background here. The art, animation, style behind it is just really crisp and really beautiful.
Thanks a lot, man.
So how did it happen? Did you both kind of say, right, that's it, we're leaving, we're setting up a company together, or did one of you start? What was it like leaving Blizzard behind?
Reiner, you want to take this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, actually, like I left like Blizzard way before Till, actually.
Okay.
For family, personal reasons.
Sure.
Went back home, and back home I actually started my own visual effects company, and that was running okay, I guess. But I always wanted to do games, so I wanted to start my own project. And before I started that, I actually contacted Till. Well, because I remembered he was also working on games, so I asked him what he was working on, and he was already working on the Bug Butcher.
Okay.
And I came on board like in the middle of it, although we almost started over.
Yeah, you can hardly call it the middle of it. I mean, we were like, for me, the project was much more a learning experience, and I was making all types of mistakes, like trashing artwork left and right, and I would actually like, look back, after months of work and be like, okay, I've already, kind of leveled up so much that I don't want to see this anymore. So, I would scrap everything over and over, and by the time Reiner got, like kind of got on board, for me, that's where we started. Like we scrapped all the code that had been written. Like I try to like build a really crappy build in Unity, and it was just horrific. And so by the time he came on, like it felt like it was ready to actually make for real, like not just play around. So that's kind of where we both got serious about it, or more like I got serious about it, and he was. He was fully on board to take it all the way. So
for you, it was initially a love of wanting to keep that 2D animation in your mind and in your heart, because you'd been working on 3D modeling for so long, and then the idea had formed, and then obviously Reiner came on board to sort of flesh it out, and then the two of you obviously got it to the place where it is today.
Exactly, yeah.
Excellent. So the main protagonist in the game is our lovable anti-hero Harry. Harry the Bug Butcher. Where did you get the inspiration for this character?
Oh man, I mean, it's kind of hard to say like where we got the inspiration or where I got the inspiration. Like, I would say that he's gone through many iterations, and his personality's kind of evolved with each iteration.
Yeah.
I mean, he was always supposed to be kind of like that, like, that '80s go-getter, like, main protagonist action hero, but he was always supposed to be flawed at the same time,
Yeah.
So we kind of liked the idea of him being like this veteran, of his trade. He's just been doing it for way too long, and he's kind of going crazy, and he doesn't really care about it anymore, but he's pretty badass at it. And he takes a little bit too much joy out of it at times, when he's actually killing bugs. And I don't know. A lot of these ideas that we have, as long as they make us chuckle a little bit, we usually go with them. We don't really spend that much time dwelling on, like, it's not a game that really is trying to build a deep story. It's really
it's not going into huge amounts of character development. He's
Exactly.
there, he's funny, he's quirky, and he does what he needs to do.
He giggles a lot, he's definitely a little crazy. So those are things that we liked.
He kind of reminds me a little bit of Bruce Willis's character in the Die Hard movies. Just very kind of, I'm going in, I'm going to get the job done.
Definitely, yeah. Lame little one-liners and things like that.
Are we going to get a yippee-ki-yay in the game at some point?
Yeah, we definitely need to add some more sounds. Like we need to flesh out Harry's his one-line His one line's a little bit more.
His opening gambit in the game in the tutorial is just kind of like a, yep, I'm just gonna get in there and do it. You know, just let me in.
They're also not really synced up to what he's saying at the moment. He's just kind of, we have like a few things we've recorded and they just randomly get picked. So sometimes it'll be a little bit like offbeat where, you know, he's supposed to react shocked and he's like, well.
That just adds to his quirky nature.
Yeah.
Just likes to keep things unpredictable. So we've got the other character in the game which kind of helps him out a little bit in a way. He's kind of unfortunate. I had him picked up by one of those kind of Half-Life 2 looking horrible slimy tongue things for a while. I presume that's the same kind of basis with this character. He hasn't really got a name in the game, and
Mr. Scientist, that's him. Like
Mr. Scientist.
He's really like that in the entire game. We have him just named as that. I think even his description when we posted like artwork for him was just Mr. Scientist. It hasn't gone much further than that.
I'm gonna link a video of me playing the game where I kind of came up with a backstory for Mr. Scientist where actually it's kind of like Harry is Chell in Portal and the scientist is actually pushing him in there on purpose to make better and more crazy bugs.
Ooh, I like it.
He's like the evil genius behind it. He's pretending to tell you that he's fixing everything, but actually he's just getting you to test out so he can make better inventions.
Ooh, we need to redo the game again.
No, I'm gonna make a whole new game, start from scratch.
You're saying we can use that, right?
Oh yeah, you go for it. Yeah, if you want to throw that in, throw it in. Maybe the Bug Butcher 2, we can have him turn evil. So as you've said on the website and in the game spec, the graphics in the game are all handcrafted, and I mean from playing it they're all truly stunning and provide a wonderful backdrop to the game. Are there any familiar sights in the levels that hint at previous projects either of you've worked on?
Ryder, you wanna?
There's a tree in the background.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, there's the forest background in one of the levels. Maybe like a small wink to the home tree design.
Nah. I'm happy that that one is done.
I suppose it's going to be copyright infringements there as well, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
You can't have the Avengers running in the background, can you now?
I mean, I think a lot of times when we're like, you know, coming up with ideas, like it's all just things we've seen and you know, from movies and comic books and whatever, and it's you know, a lot of times I don't even think it's like fully conscious, like, oh yeah, you know, we're referencing this, you know, movie or this scene or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, look, you know, people like post, you know, responses to pictures we have all the time, asking like, hey, is this like Calvin and Hobbes? And we have a drawing of Harry like peeing, and it's the exact same pose as Calvin when he's peeing, like, you know, the people up in the back of their cars.
Yeah.
And you know, it never occurred to us, but you know, clearly that's where that came from.
It's been in the back of their mind somewhere, and the inspirations come through.
For sure, you know, like I mean, I would say that games like Jetpack Joyride like definitely inspired like some of the design and like, you know, anything that Dan Paladin's done.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm a huge, you know, personally huge fan of like kind of that Flash 2D art. So I look at a lot of the different games that use that style, but yeah, I don't think we really reference anything in particular that we can pinpoint.
It's just a nice sort of setting to backdrop the actual main level itself. I mean, you don't want to draw too much attention away from actually the action going on, because there's already quite a lot going on with the different weapons and power-ups you can get and things like that.
I will say that it's a combined effort. Like I'll draw like a concept, and then like, you know, Reiner is very artistic. You know, he is doing the all the code in the game, but you know, he'll do like a paint over, and he'll send me you know, reference images of random little parts that he would like to have in there or he thinks would be cool. So, you know, in the end, it's definitely a combined effort, even though I'm drawing it.
I can't order, it sucks.
So from launch, the game is going to have an impressive, is it 30 levels and 5 boss fights?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where do you see the game progressing from there? I mean, I saw it hinted on the main screen. There are 2 other different game versions coming at some point soon.
Well, just to backtrack quickly, we don't really have the boss fights going at the moment. Like,
okay.
You know, there's more elite monsters, but the whole like larger boss fight really didn't fit into our whole like combo mechanic and like keeping the combo alive. Like I guess if we had more time and more people and you know, that might be a possibility, but
yeah.
we realized that we're maybe biting off a little more than we can chew with all the things we wanted.
Yeah.
So right now we're kind of trying to keep it more down to what we've kind of condensed to being fun, and that's more like a really kind of endless, like there's not many enemies that really put up too much of a fight. Mm-hmm. And the ones that do usually give you the opportunity to kind of keep the combo going.
Yeah,
so,
it's a big curse for game companies these days as well, isn't it? Is that you've got X amount of ideas, and if you try and fit them all in, sometimes you end up convoluting the message behind the game.
Exactly.
And it's nice to sometimes stick to an original simple idea that works really well and flesh that out to your best of your ability. And you know, if there's a future update that maybe you know at a time you decide those features could work, then you can introduce them then. But don't try and do everything all at once. I think is probably one of the key themes I've seen come through from indie development.
Yeah, I wish you would have told us that a couple months ago.
Oh my god, we have thrown away so many things.
But there is there's an endless mode coming at some point in co-op play. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We actually, do we announce that now?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't know what we're announcing, but
no. So basically, we always had like the idea of having like a multiplayer versus mode.
Yeah.
Where people kind of fight against each other.
Okay.
Well, but from every corner where we post those things, they're all asking for a co-op way to play together.
Okay.
So again, we decided to throw away what we have there, and we're working on a co-op endless right now.
Okay, cool.
Big announcement.
So get up some absolutely ridiculous combos just while they just keep piling in and piling in at you.
Pretty much just
everyone loves a good endless mode, don't they?
I mean, I'm probably most excited about the endless because
totally. Yeah.
It's kind of what I've always wanted, but we've just been spending so much time doing other things and you know, trying to make a single player experience and all this, but I feel like we're finally delving into the portion of the game that I'm most excited about. So,
and they're hugely popular as well, endless modes. Like there's progression element which people like, unlocking new levels and so on, but a lot of people find they get into a groove in a particular level and then, oh, I've beaten it. Whereas an endless mode will let you try and take it to literally the extreme until you physically can't handle the game anymore.
Yeah, I mean that for me, it's always a little bit of a bummer when I finish the round. Like there's always like it you know, it kind of heightens the intensity, and then all of a sudden it's all done and you're kind of left. Well, I mean, I guess, you know, you finish the level. If you're playing on hardcore, it's usually pretty exhilarating, but yeah, for me, it's all about the endless.
It's another nutshell. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next for Awfully Nice Studios after this title? Do you have anything else in the work? I mean, what else can we expect from you guys?
Lots of awfully nice games.
I imagine there's a lot of ideas that you've kind of got bouncing around for maybe, you know, follow-up titles and things like that. We've got the Bug Butcher, which is coming out. It says you've put in the blog summer/fall. Do you have a more sort of firmer date on when it might be going live, or?
You mean full release, or?
Yeah, so it's been Steam greenlit already, I presume.
Yeah, it's all greenlit. I mean, the early access is kind of, you know, we're inching our way to full release, and it's not. At this point, we're not that far away. I mean, it's always a question of how much we want to have for the full release, and if we want to just, you know, have a portion of it just be updates and things like that. But I think we're pretty set on having the Endless Runner be part of it, the co-op and the single. Mm-hmm. And after that, you know, once we feel like it's solid, I think we'll release it, and that should happen if all things go well in the next, you know, month or two. Yeah. But the all things go well is the key part, because things never go well.
Fingers crossed. But it's got some incredible reviews already. I mean, you've was it 98% positive reviews?
Yeah, the reviews have really been good.
Yeah. It's very impressive to see. And so when it is out, it's going to be out on PC and Mac. Is that right?
And Linux.
And Linux as well. And it's going to be controller friendly, because I saw the keys popping up as I was playing the game.
So yeah, it actually already is. If you want to try it out, you can just take an Xbox controller, plug it in, and have way more fun on the keyboard.
Nice. And we're looking at a retail value of, I think it's $10 on Steam.
That's right.
Yeah.
Happy days. Well, you heard it, folks. The Bug Butcher. It's going to be available on Steam soon. Keep an eye out for it. Grab it. Enjoy the crap out of it. I know I'm going to keep playing it, especially when the Endless mode comes out. And Till, Reiner, thank you for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having us, Jay.
Thanks, guys. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.